あ、同級生。留守番。
Let's talk about 16-bit sensation, Another Layer. So here's the thing. This is the first one to really stump me from the season. Should you watch it? Yes. Should you watch it? No. Should you watch it? Maybe. Like, here's the problem. Like, first and foremost, okay, episode 1 was pretty boring, okay? But I don't necessarily think it's going to be bad. And that's where I really struggle. I think episode 1 was very boring. I enjoy the fact that it started off where it ended. And I enjoy that it started off with some girl going, it's 1992. Wah. You know, I enjoy all of that. I thought we were immediately going to go into, you know, how it's 1990. How did I get here? How am I going to survive? How am I going to apply for work? What am I going to do for an ID? What am I going to do for a social security number or whatever they use, personal identification number in Japan? How am I going to get work? How do I register myself as an existence? Who do I say is my family? Is my mother and father alive? Is my grandparents alive? Do I have any familial ties over here? Am I going to worry about, you know, what's going on in this specific portion of the earth? And, you know, it doesn't seem like we're going to get any of the nuance. It seems like what we're going to get is girl finds old lady bequeaths her some power or something. She travels back in time because she opened a floppy disk game. And she's immediately going to stumble upon somebody and then just start working at this studio, right? Which I think is all fine. You know, I think it is possible. You can work at a studio. I think in the early 90s, I think being paid in cash is completely okay. I don't necessarily think you need to register in some way, shape, or form. I do think that becomes a big hurdle later on. And I know it's like, well, Dom, why are you being so realistic about it? It's just an anime. And I know, I totally get it. It's just like, that's where my mind goes when you're presented with not traveling back to ancient times or, you know, or traveling to some fantasy world or something like that where you don't really have a personal, you know, like it's not based in reality. She traveled back in time to somewhere in reality. And the 90s, like it wasn't that long ago. Like it was, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? And like the things we have now, yeah, we've come a long way, but it has not that far off 92. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, you know what I mean? So anyways, like I think we're going to get her and we're not going to cover any of like the, you know, whatever. We're just going to cover like, oh, she's now in the 90s and now can spread her idea, you know, her wings of ideas, but she's going to be limited by the technology of 1992, which is very much NES, SNES days, Sega Genesis days. She's going to be, you know, very much limited to 16-bit, 32-bit games and the time period that it happened and the fact that not everybody has a computer, but it's the uprising of all of this, you know, big uproar in the world for this time period. So she's going to be able to solidify maybe all the ideas that she's had, make them real, and then maybe even take ideas that are going to come to fruition later. She could probably put her own little spin on them and make them her own. Like in this one, she mentioned canon, right? Like, so that came out, you know, late 90s. She could probably do that now, but like in a different way. So I think again, I think there's potential here, but I think that the potential isn't realized till episode 3, 4, or 5, like a little bit deep into it. And at first blush, you might go like, doesn't sound too bad. Let's watch it. But the reality is that's 3 or 4 or 5 weeks of your time. And not necessarily, but it's like you're going to have to wait till next week for episode 2. And what if that one's still like, man, you know, I don't know about this one. You have to wait till week 3. So now we're 3 weeks into October, right? and you're like, well, episode 3 is pretty good. Maybe I'll come back for episode 4. And by that time, we're in November, right? So it's like, well, I don't know if I want to wait all that time. So I think, my personal recommendation for 16-bit sensation is if episode 1, you're like, I'm kind of vibing with it. I don't know. I think if you have a very small, muy pequeño, if you have like a little list of anime you're watching a season, maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 anime, sure. I think add this one to the list if you vibed with it. But I think if you have like a mountainous list of like Goblin Slayer and Shield Hero and Ancient Magus Bride and Saint's Magic Power and Undead Unluck and Pokemon and Jujutsu Kaisen, I think if you have a long list already and you're like, how am I going to squeeze this potentially amazing, potentially subpar anime in it, I think you just wait, allow the next 12 weeks to pass by, and I think week 13, week 14, maybe even next year, you come back when it's all there and you watch it in one go. Maybe even at that point, maybe even gets a dub or something like that down the line. You know what I mean? I don't know which platform this one's on. Maybe this one's on, is it on High Dive? No, this one's on Crunchyroll. So, consider it's on Crunchyroll. Maybe not. Maybe it gets a dub, somewhere down the line. And then you just binge it on a Sunday night or a Saturday evening or morning or something. You binge it in one day. So you're not having to wait weeks and weeks and weeks for this maybe good, maybe not good anime. And again, if you decide to watch it, cool. I think there's enough here. I think it's going to get good. The main character in Meiko Urahara, really cute. I mean, I love her character design. Really cute. Really stands out in that world. The girls that are in the software studio seem really, really cute. Like, I think there's a lot here. And I think it's going to take us through her creating things that she's always wanted to in a world where she's limited, but she's not limited at the same time. And I think it's going to be really, really cool. It could also really suck. It's just so hard to say. So anyways, those are my thoughts. 16-bit sensation seems like there's potential, but it also seems it's potential to be great and potential to be a big wet fart. It's really hard to know where we're going to land with this one. Regardless, episode 1 was fine. It was okay. I think there was potential here, and they kind of missed the mark, and ended up being a little bit boring. But hey, there's just one lowly guy on YouTube's opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments. Maybe this is the best thing since sliced bread, and I died. You need to wake me up. You need to wake Dom up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you, not for episode 2 on this one, but I'll see you for another video very soon. Peace out, my friends.